Good morning, um, good evening, good afternoon, folks. Welcome to SKTV. Welcome to SKTV Live. Welcome to today's edition. As you join us, tell us where you're joining us from, and let's share the show. As always, thought provoking, very, very stimulating conversations we want to have here. But as you join us, let's share the show, folks. Um, let's share the show. As you join us, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Those of you listening to us on YouTube and other places, we say welcome and welcome to this Friday and the 19th. And you are right here following SKTV, coming live to you here from Phoenix, Arizona. But let's share the show, please. As you join us, let's share the show. Let's invite others to share the show as well. Sorry, I was trying to get my earbud uh, ready here. Let's share the show, folks. As you join us this afternoon, or this morning, or this evening, or tonight, wherever you are from, or wherever you are following us from. Let's share the show. A lot to talk about, uh, a lot to uncover, a lot to discuss. Uh, let's share the show. We'll talk about the African Cup of Nations briefly. Uh, we'll talk about the various games and other things that are going on. But let's share the show. Let's share the show, please. Uh, invite others as you are coming on. Um, let's share the show. A lot of things to talk about today. That's a lot. Share the show, share the show, share the show. Um, welcome. Welcome to today's edition. Welcome and welcome. Please help us share the show. As you're coming on, please help us share the show. We want to welcome everyone. Let's share the show. As you come on, tell us where you're following us from. Just indicate which state or which country. I think if you live in the US, indicate which state. Let's share the show. Let's share the show if you can, please. Uh, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good day, good night. Happy New Year again. If you are just joining us today, Happy New Year. We want to talk about the new government. Uh-huh. We want to talk about the new government. Sekou will be joining us here soon, and other folks as well will be joining us. As we have a lot, and a lot to talk about. We want to talk the new government. Uh, inauguration is around the corner. Inauguration is civilized people can say looming. Inauguration is imminent. People can say. But let's welcome Yata Burnett from Florida. Thank you for following up. Atina Weye from watching us from Texas. Please let us know where you're following us from really quick as we get started, get ready to get started here. We'll pick up from where we stopped yesterday, actually, on the show. So, fascinating weekend. We expect nothing more but the best, as always, from SKTV. We are not boasting, but we trust the fact that we are amongst the best. Let me bring Cyrus on here. Sekou will be joining us, and other members of the team would possibly be joining us as well. Folks, a lot of things to talk about, a lot to share, A lot to discuss. Let's share the show. Ernestine Bernard, how are you doing today? Long time. She's watching us from Atlanta, Georgia. Ernestine, welcome to the show. Welcome to today's edition um, of the SKTV show. Welcome and welcome. Good stuff going on here. Um, we're anticipating a lot of good things. So let's share the show, folks. Let's share the show. Monk, you have been following with the African Cup of Nations. Uh, what's going on, my man? What is your take?
Well, it's still early. Every competition starts when we get to the knockout stages. I'm always skeptical of these North African countries because they know how to close a tournament. The performances from Africans and some of the big names, they are not performing like big names. We saw what happened with Ghana. We saw what happened with Africans against Nigeria. Even Nigeria, two performances for me is not up to standard yet. Maybe it will take someone to push them to the limit before we can see their vulnerability. But for now, like the Onondos are performing more than the brand names, like the big names that we noted for in Africa. Because talking about soccer in Africa, you first thing you talk about the Cameroon, the Ghana, the Nigeria, Egypt is also underperforming. But we see we got one more games to go in the group stages, and we'll see what happens there. But for me, it's too early to get to the knockout phases.
What about Monk? Interesting. There's something very interesting. Most times in these tournaments, it's unprecedented that the host nation will be knocked off from the initial stage or the qualifying stage. However, last night, Sekou and I'll say about this morning, Sekou and I were reviewing the chances and the possibility of the Ivory Coast, right, to qualify. And it seemed more likely so that they're in a very tough zone and in a very tough place to qualify because they must win to qualify the next game. And they're playing against Guinea-Bissau. What say you?
For Africans, right? You're referring to the Africa, the host nation.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. This day, just because you host the tournament, is not guaranteed that you're going to go any further, and it's not a guarantee that you're going to go to the knockout phases. I'm not satisfied with that Africa team. I don't see too much of a raw talent, not only with Africans, but the entire continent, the entire world as a whole. Like when you and myself started watching soccer, we saw somebody name the generation of footballers that we saw. It's not even closely, remotely close to the kind of a talent we saw in the past 25 years, I would say, dating back to the early 90s and the 2000s. So it's not like a leg of Drogba, like you had how they call him said, the Solomon Kalou, the Yaya Toure, and those guys. That generation is over with. And the thing about national team, you don't buy players, you only work with the players that you have available, and that talent, that pool of talent is not there. You can see, even in Nigeria, you used to talk about the how they call it, the Rashini Yakinin, the Amokachi, the Okocha of the world. You're talking about Celestine Babayaro and Sonny Olisia. Those guys are gone. We don't have talent these days. I mean, since the money came into the game, the talent is not that it's not there anymore. So um they will be in the tough spot, especially in the must-win situation at home. It gave you extra pressure. And when the talent is not there, there's nothing you can do. So just because you are the host, it does not guarantee anything in soccer these days. And I believe Africa will struggle. Even if they will get to the next stages by the scheme of a teeth, I don't think they will go far in this tournament from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, but it's interesting that they're playing Guinea-Bissau, and Guinea-Bissau is a very, 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 I'll say very good team. I'll put it that way. Guinea-Bissau currently is tapping the table in the group stage as we speak. I think they have 4 points, following Nigeria, which is 4 points. The Ivory Coast is 3 points, and then what you call it, the other Guinea is also not Guinea-Bissau. I mean,
Equatorial
Guinea-Bissau.
Guinea, Equatorial Guinea, you mean?
Equatorial Guinea is topping the table. Equatorial Guinea has a very good team,
Mhm.
very, very good team. Young, very energetic, promising as well. And so it's very discouraging for some of us who support the Ivory Coast. I mean, they started off the tournament very slowly, even in the first game where they won 2-0.
Mhm.
So we didn't see the enthusiasm, we didn't see the hunger, we didn't see them playing like, this is the home team, that they're on the turf, they got to support us, the spectators are in full and so forth. It's discouraging.
It is beyond discouraging. When you go into a tournament, you got 3 games to make an impression, especially when you're the host nation. You want to secure your first 3 points on day one. then that way it take a little bit of a pressure off of you, because playing home alone is an added pressure apart from being the big name like Ivory Coast. So my thing is, and we have been seeing a trend for more than a decade now that a team that come with more local players rather than foreign based players, they tend to perform better than teams with the big name players coming from all over Europe. By virtue of the fact that the local players they can interact more, they play locally as compared to you bringing all the big names from around the world for a very limited period of time. So for me, Ivory Coast, like I said, I'm not going to place my bet on them in as much as they got a history with the name recognition. These days, names mean nothing in football. Like some countries that are no name, you have no name recognition for, they can go into a tournament and pull a surprises, and we have been seeing that consistently. Even Egypt, they are also one step away from being eliminated. And don't forget, they are the records holder, 7 times champion. That's the most on the continent, but you can tell how they are struggling now. So every competition come with its own challenges. I just hope Africa could at least reach the knockout phases, but it seems like they might likely not make it to the next round.
Yeah, but Cameroon also, I think so far, you and I were following the first half of the Cameroon Senegal game. Like you said, back in the days when these names are playing, everybody's hooked to the TV. You say you see raw talents. Like at that time, they had Diouf from El Hadji Diouf from, they had all these guys, the midfield very strong. They had a bunch of good guys from Senegal. Today, even Manny, I'm not seeing him. I'm not seeing him really pulling up anything serious. To be quite
The
honest,
money. It's the money and the preservation of the body. You want to avoid injury. Money, most of the time, an African player goes into Europe and the international game by reducing their age. And now that you got more money in the game than any other time in history, do you know how much money makes in Saudi Arabia? So why make you think you will come play Cup of Nations and try to do the extra? The days of Senegal when you had the Kalilou Fatika, the El Hadji Diop, the Cisse, the Henry Camara. No, you got a whole different generation. Yeah, Senegal got some players that are playing competitive football. Like Guyana Gay, he plays for PSG. They got big names, but the effort is not matching the name recognition these days. Those guys were playing back in the day, they were playing for passion. Now people play for money. So when they come to play for the country, they don't put in as much effort as is needed. So I don't buy into the name recognition anymore until they can prove otherwise. But I don't go into the big name anymore. It's just not holding up the water these days.
but interestingly, the Asian Cup is also going on at the same time as the African Cup of Nations. Their league seem to be a little sophisticated, attractive. The Asian League, I've been following it as well. It seems very, very, very interesting. The Asian League is going on very good. But Monk, something very interesting about the age that you talked about. I saw a full grown man, I think from the Senegal, from the Cameroon team, that they were claiming that he's 29 years old. And I sat down for long. I said, "Say my house, say nobody's talking." Yeah, come on.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, the man, you can see men who are maturity, the man
Yeah, say he's
has
29.
old age, and you are looking at him and calling him 29 years old.
29, yeah. And you start questioning yourself. When last you were 29 years old, looking at this man's physical feature, you know that he's in his 40s and he's telling you he's
Yeah, the man physical morphology does not add with the age. But not only that, on top of that, the bald head substantiate the physical morphology and the age gap. So when they say we're 29 years old, I say, wait a minute. So who they got there playing jokes around here with? But hey, it is what it is. We who stay 29 years, oh yeah, and you understand? Yeah. Someone who stay 29 years, that really want rare. That all rare. But Mark, in the new year, quickly before we go to other news, what say you so far? We are what 19 days into the new year. What say you?
well, the new year has come with a lot of surprises all over the world. Like we're in the age of enlightenment, people are getting more information, more news, more analysis, more views on issues. So we're seeing it, but we know there's going to be an interesting year because this year is going to be an election in the United States, and there are a lot of issues and events happening around the world. When the US is having an election, every country around the world want to make a strategic move to have an influence based
So
on how the US foreign policy works. So there will be a lot of things to see. I listened to Rand Paul yesterday talking about how the Chinese are coming with an even deadly virus that will be 10 times worse than COVID, like the Black Plague. And he was talking about how it's been manufactured in the lab even though that our people on the side don't want to agree, but we got more to see in this coming year. So people should buckle up. It's not going to get any better.
Quickly, while speaking about the international news and so forth, Mark, now that you brought it, we're going in other news. Those of you who follow other news and other outlets before we get to the Liberian politics, in other news, Kurt Williams, I've been following, I listened to his interview on, I don't think, I think what you call, I think, She or whatever it is. He's gone up to 50 million views so far. One of the record breaking in our time, 50 million views just in what 2 or 3 weeks of his 2 weeks, I would say, of his interview. In other news, also, Israel and the United States seem not to be having some good terms in terms of policy as to how to handle the whole Pakistan, Hamas, Gaza, this war to come to a conclusive conclusion. It seemed to be a little challenging there. In other news, also, President Donald Trump is awaiting how much he will pay for an alleged, not an alleged, it's been established that he raped and defamed a lady in New York back then. And so he's awaiting now to see how much he will be fined because she wants 10 million in damages. In also other news, Donald Trump has won Iowa, the Iowa caucus for the nomination. Donald Trump has won it as of this week, early this week. Now they're headed to New Hampshire, South Dakota, and other places to clinch the nomination. Nikki Haley seemed to be a serious contender, as well as our friend, our boy from Florida, Ron DeSantis. So the primary to see who will be the nominee for the 2024 presidential race seemed to be Donald Trump seemed to be in a comfortable leading seat at this point. The question most pundits have been asking is, would he pick Nikki Haley as his VP pick? Should he clinch the nomination officially and finally down the line? So I mean, this is very interesting, very intriguing. We are following it. We're following the outcome. On the other hand, President Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are moving around the country, trying to showcase some of the work they've done, some of the things they've done, their accomplishments. They have been showing case of it, and so forth. So we're not even headed into campaign yet. We're seeing punches are being thrown here and there. Donald Trump is on the rant again. Donald Trump made a funny but very interesting, and I'll term it as very, very concerning statement that presidents should be immune from everything. Basically, that's what he said. That's very concerning for some people. That's also been concerning for some pundits. We're following that. In other news, also around the world as we speak, Sierra Leone ex-president who was allegedly charged with coup plot and treason to the country, left the country today to seek refuge or exile in Nigeria. You remember Charles Taylor? We'll come to that here, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty of it. Very, very interesting. It happened sometimes today in Sierra Leone. Very, 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 very interesting things are going on around the world. In local news, back home, we see the two first ladies, Malakla Wia and also Jose Yuma Bwaga's wife, Kotuma Boakai. I think that's her full name. If I'm not pronouncing the name, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry for butchering her name, but we saw a picture of them showing and they're hugging. We'll talk about that just a little bit here. As you are all aware, as of this week, we have a new Senate Pro Tem. We also have a new Speaker of the House and a Deputy Speaker. We are looking forward to the inauguration on the 22nd on Monday. So this whole weekend, preparations are ongoing. Confirmation, people are trooping in from all over the world for the inauguration of Jose Yuma Boakai as president of Liberia. And so we're following very, very closely. We're following the events. We're following those things that are unfolding. These are things we want to bring you in other news really quick. Give us a second here. We'll just take maybe 1 or 2 minutes of your time to get straight to the um, musical break as we share the show. Once we get back, we'll get straight into the program, and Monk will give his take on some of these breaking news before we get into the conversation today, which is going to focus around the new government, your expectations, and so forth. Because people been saying, we have been saying, the world has been watching the new government, the new government, the new government, the new government. It's just in less than 3 days. In 3 days, we have new government. Let's get to this musical break really quick.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We touch it for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Calling out people who willing to serve. The blessing that time and the efforts are rest. The project we giving us here and the promise from there. The work with my life without fear.
A lyrical health.
Master.
Clear police who make on you. I can't ask it if you been you. Say my journey, Tina can I say my jamo. And yes, I know money. The more I get you. And you love me. The more I get you. What is
SKTV the best in Liberia.
what did I say?
SKTV the best in Africa.
What did I say?
SKTV the best in Mama
What did
Liberia.
I say?
Must hold by the lofa and grandfather.
Ena Guinea ya tumale, ena Salia ya tumale, ena Conakry ya tumale, ena Cote d'Ivoire ya tumale, ena Guinea ya tumale, ena Salia ya tumale, ena Conakry ya tumale, ena Cote d'Ivoire ya tumale, ena Liberia ya tumale, esta TV, ena Liberia, tosi wako maya tumale, eh.
SKTV the best in Liberia.
What did I say?
SKTV the best in Africa.
What did I say?
SKTV the best in Mama Liberia.
What did I say?
Must hold by the lofa and grandfather.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We touch it for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Calling out people who willing to serve. The flesh, the time and the efforts are rest. The broadcast we giving are real and the promise from best. To work with my life without fear. From Grandfather Nima to Lufa, from Riverside to Raji to Chide, from Grand Crew, Bombing, Kidman, Montserrat to San to Bakulu, from Maryland, Bonk to the Mikey B. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB.
SKTV.
All right, folks, we are right back with you as we promised to be. Hello to all of you. If we didn't recognize you, sorry, we're in the program. We will do our best to be on time and leave on time today. Monk, a lot of things going on, my man. Let's start with the West. Let's start first with Israel, America, Joe Biden's policy, with Israel thinking that Benjamin Netanyahu would fall in line and create a state, create another state for the Pakistanis.
Yep.
It seemed like that plan backfired, and the Israelis are not having it. They don't want to be part of that.
The thing about the Israeli, they usually work in last step with the American, but Israel will always put her own strategic interest first before the America's interest, in as much as they will want to agree with America most of the time. The thing about the Israelis with the Palestinian issue is not the idea of a two-state solution. It's all about the intent and what people want to achieve at the end of the day. Israel want to strike a strategic blow to Hamas to decapacitate them because they know it's never going to end. So I tell people, I'm not a fan. Looking at the history, these people existed for more than 2,000 to 3,000 years over there. It was the British mandate that brought problem in the Middle East between Israel and Palestine when it came to the two-state solution. They created one state, and from a negotiation standpoint, they failed to follow up on the creation of a Palestinian state. But if you look at it from a historical context, one group want the other group not to exist, and that would never happen because other radical Islamic state, I would say the legs of Iran and Iraq, and other people want to see Israel push into the sea, and they don't have that military capability to achieve that. So what they do, they sponsor proxies like the Hezbollah, the Hamas, and all the terrorist organizations, thinking that they can weaken Israel. And the Jewish people, I don't think they will sit over there and allow themselves to be destroyed. So I don't know Joe Biden's long-term plan, because it seems that when it comes to foreign policy, this government is one of the reasons he's so unpopular. He does not take a stand on any major issue. They tingle around the edges. So the Israeli people, I don't think they are going to side with America this summer. Maybe when it comes to humanitarian hostage crisis and negotiation on the issue of humanitarian aid going to the West Bank and the Gaza specifically, maybe the Israeli will kind of create some wiggle room. But when it comes to their offensive operation against Hamas, now I don't think they will slow down anytime soon, because they want to do something very, very big to Hamas to really decapacitate them. They are going in tunnels and all that stuff. So they know there is a price to pay, or him a price to pay in terms of life, but they prefer taking that blow right now than for something worse to happen in the not too distant future. For the Palestinians, I tell people, if you look at the whole Israel and Palestinian issue, if Israel puts her gun down, there will be Israel will cease to exist. If Palestinians put their gun down, there will be peace between the both countries. I mean, it's not that I'm taking side. There are certain things, there are some moral issue between these two countries. But I mean, I won't say two countries between Palestinians and the Israeli, but we know, historically speaking, from history, we know that one party intend to create a situation where the other state does not exist. They want to push it into the sea, and that would never happen. So it's not going to end anytime soon. We'll be going for decades now. So,
but Monk, this is welcome, Sekou. Welcome to this edition.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. What say you, Peter? What people really quick before we continue on with the conversation here?
No, it's okay. I'm working behind the scene. Thank you to you. Thank you to Monk and everybody who want to say thank you. So we have some situation going on. Our guys, we have two people going live simultaneously.
Right.
And our viewers are gonna confused, divided. They don't even know which one to watch. So I was just trying to reach out to guys. If some of these guys can just go off, so that we can direct our viewer in one place. At least we're having our particular show. But what's going on here? Our people they like this, having Jefferson Koji giving press conference, and I think Jefferson Koji won a press conference just ended. So some viewer will come back here, and another person is on the other side. So we have a lot, going on at the same time. But it's okay. We can have the show. Those who are watching other things, they may come back here on to watch the show. But if you ask me, this whole thing, people got to treat it with a lot of carefulness, and it's a delicate issue. The issue of Israel and Palestine. You see, even Brazil among himself, he said Palestine and Israel, but yet he felt that recognizing Palestine as a country is a problem. He could not have done that. When he said it, then he tried to take it back. He said two countries, as if Palestine is not a country. You see? So it's kind of hard. People having those kind of mindset has been around for a very long time. So not a lot we can do about it. I think the war itself is not fair. Whatever is going on, no matter who you support and how you support them, everybody is supporting certain group of people for their own reason. Some are doing it for religious reasons, some are doing it for financial reasons, some are doing it, for different reasons. So when it comes to Israel and the United States will always going to be with Israel, regardless. Because of the Israelis, the Jewish people, they are well grounded in the United States. So you cannot just, do certain thing with them. It's not going to work. United States are not going to support it. As a matter of fact, Israel received the highest military support in the world, and Egypt should be next, or should just be the
Egypt received the second highest.
Yeah, Egypt received the second
after Israel.
Yeah, so we know exactly what's going on. So United States commitment to Israel is not, it cannot be measured with any other place. Yeah, but I mean, we hope that cooler head will prevail and the people will come to their senses, and look at these things from humanitarian ground and make sure that, they think about the people on both sides, because every life is important to me, whether it's Israeli life or Palestinian life. The land is nothing. We were all born and met the land there or here, but we all go and leave the land. So human life is what is paramount to me. And whether it's Israeli life or Palestinian life, every life should be, respected. That's my opinion.
And I agree with you, Mr. Kane. I do agree with you. I think there are some things that can rise above any other thing, personal issues or what, religion or so forth, as long as it comes to the lives of humans. That's the most important thing. That's the bottom line here. And like you said, I hope cooler hair will prevail. They will find a way to compromise, reason to get this thing over with, because innocent people are losing their lives daily on this one issue. And it's been for a while. But let's come quickly to the United States, and then we'll pivot and go back to Liberia.
That's why we're going for Trump. To bring people back, to bring peace back to the rest of the world.
Speaking about Trump, speaking about former President Donald Trump.
Steve, I apologize. I said Jefferson Koji, something was done. I can see 130 people there, and then the other area where Sarah is 120 people there. Everybody kind of scatter.
But what happened with Jackie Van Terry went to 311 press conference over, and the number just it just increased dramatically.
Yeah. People are struggling for a moment, and then all my Sekou Kena stuff, 31 people. So everybody kind of scatter all over the place. If I do those guys, everybody will honor that. We're just going to tell them before, but it's okay.
But let me ask you this question, please. Yeah. I think Trump is threatening to pull out of NATO when he wins.
Yep.
That's one thing. Secondly, Trump is also using not only the race cards when it comes to, most recently, Nikki Haley, calling people different names using the race cards. What do you say in terms of? I'm not talking about the United States.
Yes.
Globally, Trump's stand globally has been troubling, concerning, and people need to take a closer look at some of the policies he wants to implement, especially when it comes to. And we remember when he was president, his stance globally, whether that people coming in, people coming out, and so forth. What say you? If Trump were to win, are we on for another disaster? Are we on for another drama?
That's why they make us to believe in the first 4 years, when in fact the guy who is there have created more disaster than Trump. Trump policy on NATO is very simple. The only reason NATO was created was to keep Russia in check. At the time they were the Soviet Union, they were more powerful. So the countries on the continent of Europe and Eurasia, they couldn't match Russia militarily. But over time, the Soviet Union empire disintegrated. Russia is now a paper tiger. The biggest economy now in all of Europe is Germany. So when we came to the 21st century, in the 90s and the early 2000s, we said we want to build a global alliance. Every single country in Europe does business with Russia. Russia depends on energy to fuel her military. So when Trump became president, Trump said, even now, America scrapped our entire space program. We use Russian spaceship to go to space right now. Anybody can confirm that. Trump came with a very simple idea. If you are a European country that will babysit you in NATO, we pay your bills, and you're telling, we should protect you against Russia, but you do business with Russia every single day of the week. Russia is the gas station for Europe. If Russia shut her oil pipeline, you guys will freeze to death. So it makes no goddamn sense for NATO to be in existence when you do business with Russia. Because technically, if you do business with Russia, then why are we protecting you against Russia? That's where it stands at. And we just saw it what happened with the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. That's why Germany went and bypassed. It was one of the main reasons we were using Ukraine. You know, people don't understand. The reason Ukraine was very strategic to Russia because all Russia scientists, all their laboratory, all their pipeline passes to Ukraine. So when Russia...
But Mark, let me add this there really quick because what say you about Trump locally? Who says presidents should be immune from everything?
No, that's not. President cannot be their presidential immunity. President cannot be immune from everything.
No. That's why he wrote on his 2 social posts.
I don't know about that.
Yes,
I think he said from prosecution, right?
For prosecution.
Yeah, when you get executive, you get Article 2 powers. There are certain part of the American Constitution that said even the president is beyond the extent of the Supreme Court. President got immunity. But you know, for Trump, it's a whole different standard because we all know what's going on in America. It's all about getting Trump. That's why every president can get away with it. And I get away with it. That's why it is. Let me give you one instance.
So you're not going to agree with you.
Let me give you one instance. You cut me off. Let me give you one instance. Let me give you one single instance.
Let me ask you this question, then you can get an instant with me, please. I don't want to lose my train of thought. Do you believe all of the charges, all of the quagmire, all of the court cases, including the January 6th, do you believe Trump had nothing to do with it? They just decided to just put it on you?
Oh no, he got something to do with it, but the question is, does it rise up to a crime like we saw with the 2 fake impeachment that could barely meet the constitutional standard? Why you think the 2?
I mean, don't go to the impeachment.
Why do you
go to the January 6th first?
Yeah, it's a thing. The president got First Amendment right. The president called for a protest. Let me tell you something. Let me give you one instance. Yes.
No, let me ask you that. You can answer it and say whatever you want to say.
Okay.
So what you think? Losing life during the January 6th could not amount to a crime.
Losing life, protests happen. Nobody can guarantee what happened in a protest. The president.
That was not a protest. That was an attack on the Capitol. It was not a protest. That was not a protest.
That was what? How you call that?
That was an attack on the Capitol.
Oh,
going for the heads of the leaders.
It was an attack on the Capitol. But when the Democrats seized the House floor in 2004 because John Kerry were beaten by George Bush, when the Maxi Waters of the world obstructed to the electoral college, no, it was okay. They called for protest.
How many property at the Capitol were destroyed? How many lives were lost?
You need to understand that Washington D.C. is a Democratic leaning city. Everything that is run by Democrats. The same thing we saw. What happened during the Kavanaugh hearing? You sat in America. You saw the Kavanaugh hearing.
Why is this whole Donald Trump here today? Because Mung is a Donald Trump man.
No, so I would call Trump for when Trump,
people all in the scene, the black one, the white one.
No, when Trump does wrong, we will say it, but we all know what is happening in America. Even the blind president can see it. We saw it with presidential immunity. Let me give you one instance. I was saying the only president in the federal government that have the power to declassify any classified information, the president of the United States. But what you saw, they went and ransacked Donald Trump property in Mar-a-Lago. Joe Biden, who was never a president, that had classified document in his car garage, he could walk free. And Donald Trump is the one being prosecuted. Look, the average president in America knows exactly what's going on.
That's a different
scenario. It will always be a different thing when it comes to Trump. I say when it's Trump, there is no spin down.
Different scenario.
It's one of the reasons.
Different scenario, different attitude, different case, and different document.
Okay,
let me ask you, when Democrat, when your Black Lives Matter and Antifa circled the warehouse and forced Donald Trump in the basement of the warehouse, did anyone in America call it an insurrection? The president of America had to run for safety in the name of a protest from George Floyd for something that happened way in Minneapolis.
Yeah, but Trump too. Here's the issue. Trump, at the time was president, he had a right to prosecute those who did that.
I can't. To be honest with you, I personally, from a political standpoint, I give anybody the right to support whoever he wants you want to support.
Right.
But I kind of feel I'm taken aback for any African to put their life on the line for Donald Trump because of Donald Trump's innuendos and his bad mouthing of African, and even beyond that, those that were immigration issues people that travel from Africa, people that have their relatives live in Africa, some of the programs that were facilitating African traveling to come here legally, Donald Trump stopped everything. Everything started to come back into light when Donald Trump left power. So for any African to support Donald Trump, politics is about interest. Maybe the more than guys different interests, with Donald Trump, but other African, other people with African background got different interests. Donald Trump is not somebody for any immigrant as a whole, black, white, purple, green. So long as you are an immigrant, you can't get a good with Donald Trump.
Segu, let me ask you this question, Segu. Can you tell me which U.S. president deported the most illegal immigrant in the history of America?
I would say
Barack Obama, right? So you think so you think he was better than Trump, right?
Illegal immigrant, but Donald Trump.
Trump is illegal.
If it comes to,
that's an argument for another day.
Yeah,
Trump is far better than what
that's what another day. But every
people see on TV. That's a myth.
in America is better than Donald Trump.
So we'll move the conversation a little further. Let's move the conversation a little further to Sierra Leone, because today the president, the former president of Sierra Leone, basically, I'll use the word airlifted into exile in Nigeria. We saw this happening. We saw a similar thing happening with our former president, Charles Taylor. And so, Monk, what say you in the region of Sierra Leone where this president has been allegedly charged with treason, that he knows about the coup plot, he's aware of it, he's part of it, and so forth. Mind you, this is the leading opposition leader at this point in Sierra Leone. What say you? Monk, are you there?
I haven't been following the issue with Sierra Leone. I saw the headline, but I want to be fair here. I've never been following religiously on that particular issue. I know that they talk about giving him something like a presidential, I don't know how to call this.
NS Kuruma?
Yeah, NS Kuruma to go to, I don't know, it's Nigeria or which other African
Nigeria.
country. But I want to be fair with you that particular case, I haven't been following it very closely. So I will still need more information on that case and what's happening in Sierra Leone over there. I know about him being given executive clemency to travel to Nigeria, but I don't know the details surrounding that as of yet.
Mr. Kane, what say you though? Because we've seen this picture before with Charles Taylor in our place there, and this taken to exile in Nigeria, it seemed more like it's temporary at this point. It's not definite. So, and this thing is still looming over him, because the Sierra Leone government is reporting that they will still charge those who they will prosecute, those who were part of the coup and the plot and everything. It will still go on. But the president, who is currently the opposition leader in Sierra Leone, was taken away. What say you from a political standpoint? What say you from a global standpoint? What kind of message is this sending, especially to the opposition in Sierra Leone?
Well, personally, I think this is going to be like a drip, one step to another. Now, the United States and the international community, and let me add this, the war is not fair. African leaders have been treated differently when it comes to the International Criminal Court and crimes committed against humanity. However, we always sell ourselves. We also give ourselves to them to do whatever they want to do with us. So I can tell you, NS Nkrumah could end up sending back in Sierra Leone for prosecution. He might be charged with treason, and his political career could be at the finish line sooner rather than later.
You see it too.
That makes sense, because this exile was temporary. We saw it with Charles Taylor, remember?
Yeah.
He went to Nigeria, but then later he was brought on to Liberia.
It's an exile to allow
the process to play out,
to go on while he's not in the country, because he's more powerful in the country than he's not. It's like breaking the man wing, breaking his wing from once he's not present, he's supposed to give up. There are certain things that will not happen, and his leverage in the country will be minimized.
So you think this was a strategic move from a political standpoint
I believe
as
so.
to as to minimize any kind of noise? Because if you were in the country and this thing were going on, there could be, you are right, there could be riots, there could be protests, there could be other serious issues that would arise in the country. But they look at it from a diplomatic and a strategic standpoint. So let's stabilize it, let's take him out while the process goes on, and then later on we'll bring it back. But we'll keep following the story in Sierra Leone. We'll keep following there to see what really the outcome will be, what's going on, what is expected, and all that extra stuff. Folks, we want to move quickly to Liberia because we have the names of the new government, the leaders. And when we say the new government, we mean all three branches of government. We have the names of all of them. From the executive, we have two leaders, President-elect, soon to be inaugurated, Joseph Yuma Boakai, and Jeremiah Kuhn. They're in charge of the executive. From the legislature, we have Fanati Kofa and Senator Yombli Kanga Lawrence as the people who are in charge of the legislature. From the judiciary, we still have Siane Yo. Mr. Kane, here's a big question. What do we expect? Any difference from what we had under the Weir-led government, where you have buffer chambers and Abbott over the legislature? You have Josh Weir and Joey Howard Taylor. But then initially we have Francis Kokpo before later on it came down to Siane Yo at the very end here. What is the expectation, Cyrus? Let's start with Monk. Monk, we're going to inauguration. What do you think with this new administration? What do you expect?
Well, I'm not expecting something fundamentally different to change. I mean, I think the political leader of the CPP even wrote a statement. I know it was like a dig at those people because we know they are the same players, they are the same crook. Until they can prove us otherwise, we know exactly what's going to happen. It gets a paragraph. I don't know if I could read it for the audience to listen to it, but a very, very piece. Huh?
Please read it. Please read it.
Okay, let me see here. And I know what he meant. He said, I have sent personal messages and congratulations to the best, and best wishes to Senator Nyombli Kanga Lawrence, President Pro Tempore of the Liberian Senate, Representative J. Fanati Kofa, Speaker of the House of Representatives. I wish to also congratulate the Deputy Speaker, Representative Thomas Fala, and all the leaders of the 55th Legislature. Your colleagues, Senator, and members of the House of Representatives have entrusted you with the duty of leading the honorable legislature, the first branch of our government, at an important time in our country's history. To borrow from the Lord's Prayer, lead not the legislature into temptation, but deliver democratic governance as their constitutional duties require. Finally, the elections are over. The party we must now serve is the Republic of Liberia. I pray all elected and appointed officials serving Liberia patriotically and honorably, always settling for nothing less. May God continue to bless and guide the leaders, members, and institutions of our government toward the unity and prosperity of our common patrimony. Very simple and short. And that's it. I knew what he meant to say because it's coded language. And he meant to say that we know you guys will be corrupt, but the elections are over. I'm not here to play politics. The only thing is we just want for you to do the best thing, even though I'm not expecting you to do the best, but we will accept what
Which statement is that?
Alexander Cummings. We will give you the benefit of the doubt. That's why he used that Lord's Prayer analogy. Deliver the Liberian people from evil and from bad governance. That's what he meant. But for me, from a personal standpoint, I don't expect anything to change. It's going to be business as usual, and our voters are in the habit of incentivizing wicked, corrupt criminals in our country. So I don't think they got any reason to do anything better. That's what I want to believe. Maybe Joseph Baga could change the narrative. There is a possibility, but if I'm going to take a bet, I'm not going to bet on them doing anything better. That's what I believe.
Monk, just before we go to Sekou, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
Do you think this message from Alexander Cummings, which was 3 days ago, do you think is also a signal, or sign, or warning, an alert, or a light to say, I'm still around?
It is an alert. That's what he meant to say. We know you are going to be bad. We know you have a history of doing the worst thing, but we are watching you equally. We are still around. Yeah, you may have won the election, but there are subsequent elections to come and there will be consequences as well. So even though you are the one that in power, you got what you wanted, the rescue train was able to succeed, but Liberia goes far beyond just a rescue train. But equally so, we are on the sideline watching you as well. So it's a warning. It's a reiteration of the fact based on history, like I said. And he telling them that he stay around. I know Cummings will compete in 2029. I know that for sure. Even though people say, oh, he will call it quit. I like, no. I think he understands the dynamics and how the people vote in succession. He will want to give it a shot again. And that's why he's saying that. You know, I said it on the show on countless occasions that Cummings should give Joseph Baga some time, anywhere between 6 to 9 months. But equally, they got to make any kind of a statement just to let people know that you stay around, you know. But you want to give them some time to let them settle in. But he's telling them, I'm stay around and we will be here keeping your feet to the fire. We'll still be checking on you. I think that's why that message meant.
Okay. Let's come to Sekou really quick. And Sekou will take this, you know, from both ends. Sekou, what do you expect? New faces? Not new faces. New positions? Seen faces? What do you expect in his government? And what do you also make of the reaction of Mr. Alexander Cummings on congratulating these leaders that have been elected and so forth? What do you say? What do we expect?
What do I expect? I expect Joseph Boakai government to. What's going on with you, Steve? I expect Joseph Boakai government to be corrupt as the other governments in the past. And I expect also the legislature to dance to the drumbeat of any corrupt government based on what's in it for them. But what I also expect is that Nyomli Kanga Lawrence led Senate and Fonati Kufa led House of Representatives. They are not going to be in bed with Joseph Boakai government in terms of corruption 100%. And they're not going to do it because they are honest or because they love Liberian people or because they want to protect Liberia. They're going to flex muscles. They're going to act, you know, as if they are carrying on their responsibility. At least they will pretend for political reasons. CDC don't want to be seen as a party that will vanish. CDC want to make sure that they are important and they want to act tough. You know, where, you know, corruption is, they will all be licking their hands. But sometimes, I don't know, for the most part, CDC want to show that they are actually the real opposition. And with the belief, the conventional way is done that an opposition is the government in waiting. Everyone want to project themselves to be their government in waiting. I foresee the Liberty Party coming back together, reuniting to fill in the gap, to fill in the vacuum as one of the potential or one of the main opposition political party looking or going into the 2029 elections. So I do not expect them to just allow everything to go through. Whatever happened leading to 2023 election is over, is behind. Now politicians are working towards what's in it for them, what they can get, the best they can get out of their respective position leading to 2029. I don't think Yombly and other leaders within the Senate will just say yes, man, yes, man, yes, sir, to Joseph Boakai government in everything. There will be time they will be corrupt, as they have always been. I'm speaking generally for the Senate and the House of Representatives. But to say there will be, yes men and yes sir to Joseph Boakai government engaging in corruption or corrupt attitude, I don't expect that. And the reason it may not be because it may not be because they really trying to protect Liberia or fight for Liberia, but also to position themselves as the real opposition, people who are standing for something for the purpose of political reason. And mind you, they don't have any loyalty to Unity Party. They have loyalty. They have some arrangement, some agreement with Joseph Boakai. And going into 2029, Joseph Boakai may not be in the picture. So there will be a huge political vacuum. Are they going to be accepted to lead the Unity Party? I don't think so. Unity Party people are not going to do that. Also, Yombly, Leone, and Musa Ability and other people from the Liberty Party that were fighting together, I believe they're going to come back together. I believe that. And when that happens, Unity Party will have two major opposition political parties. I mean, if not three. We don't know what the CPP will do. We don't know what the ANC might stand by itself. I'm just making prediction. ANC could stand by itself and be a political party of our own. And Liberty Party might stand on her own, and the CDC. All the other parties may be part of some level of collaboration or coalition for one or against other parties, those three parties. So basically, we're going to go back to the drawing board, wherein you're going to have Unity Party in power, CDC, ANC, and Liberty Party in opposition. And all those three parties going to be fighting for the space of who is actually the main opposition. Yombly, Musa, Leone, and other Liberty Party people, they want to project themselves as the next party, the next government in waiting. Also, ANC, when Mr. Cummings, if he runs, they're also going to want to position themselves as the next government in waiting. Equally so, CDC want to fight to come back. It might be difficult for them, but CDC going to fight to come back. So Joseph Boakai government not going to have, a free ride or easy ride just like that. No. When it comes to stealing money for them to share some money among themselves, that is obvious. They're going to do that. The old saying in Africa, they say where you tie the goat, there where the goat can eat. So that's how many of them see government job. So I don't think Yombly will allow herself to be considered as a toothless bulldog, having that position and fail to take advantage of it politically, because being seen as a praise singer for Joseph Boakai, or being seen as someone who will be there to promote the Unity Party, she's not going to do that, because she knows doing that will not yield her any political dividend. And politicians, when you elect them today, they're not looking at that election. It's already behind them. They are looking at the future. And I can tell you, the possibility of Unity Party having a tough time with these different political parties is going to be very, 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 very high. So Steve is not here, Monk, but that's my opinion when it comes to that. Now, I'm not saying it could be because for good reason, but mostly for political reason, they may want to put up some fight, present themselves strong, standing up for Liberia, standing up for the people. Look at Yaga Kolba, for example. Just yesterday, Yaga Kolba was there supporting Joseph Jima Bagai. But Joseph Jima Bagai is here to take power. Yaga Kolba already standing up against them. So in Liberia, people are considered strong when you stand against the government in power. And most of them want to take advantage of that for the purpose of being relevant or having some political capital going into 2029. Who knows?
For sure. That's what's going to happen in the next 6 years, man. Everybody, we said it on the show a couple of days ago, that will be the mantra for the next 6 years. Everybody trying to position themselves. Maybe Liberty Party will want to go alone. And don't forget now, a member of the Liberty Party that won the rescue train is a Senate Pro Tem. She's fourth in command. And we all knew what happened between the Musa Ability of the Liberty Party and the Leone and Yomli Kanga win. So who knows? Maybe they might try to consolidate to position themselves for 2029. Maybe she might want to be president again or somebody from the party. So we got more to see. That's why the 6th year will be all.
I can assure you, based on what I have heard, based on some information in our possession, the Liberty Party will possibly come together sooner rather than later to, reconcile themselves. And I think it will be good for them. And I think there will be a lot of political fallout after the inauguration. And there will be some realignment, like I said yesterday. So some people are going to feel betrayal. Some people are going to feel disappointed. Some people are going to feel like, wow. But it's politics. That's why you don't burn bridges in supporting people, but politicians. You have to keep it straight, keep it real, stick to your opinion, support who you want to support, but do not fight people to the extent that you cannot see eye to eye just because of politics. Because politicians, they are who they are. They are human beings. But once you become a politician, a full-fledged politician, you become a different animal. We don't think the same way. You're looking at today, they are looking at tomorrow. And they are, by the time they are elected today, the plan is for the next election. And everything they do, they work towards that. So, Monk, before I go to you, I want to remind our people, the election, the inauguration is this Monday. And we asked our people last time to help us get prepared for the inauguration. Some people did contribute, and a lot of put in. Also, today is Friday. People normally chip in 1 or 2 cents to SKTV on Friday. I don't know whether Steve did remind you people on that. If he did not, we are encouraging everybody or anyone who wants to contribute to SKTV. We need it today rather than, and more than before, actually, because I know what I've been going through for the past 2 days in terms of those guys getting prepared, buying trapos, buying a lot of different things. And they're going to need data as well, So if you are here and you are a fan or supporter of SKTV, we encourage you to contribute to our Cash App or Zelle. Yeah, so Mon, we are having some David, we are having some, I mean, I want to say like Joseph Nima Boakai, incoming government,
I don't know, mock drop off.
yeah, you can come back. So Joseph Boakai government, incoming government, kind of tight-lipped when it comes to the names of people that are going to be in the cabinet. However, the last time we received a list of people, and some of them said that list was not accurate. But the list that we provided, when it came to the leadership structure of the House of Representatives, the House of the Senate, it came through. We were right on that 100%. All the names that were mentioned, the list that we received, we said we could not authenticate the list of the leadership structure of the House of the Senate, but that was the same exact list that we saw after when they were elected. So my question to you now, Stephen Mung, some of the names we've heard, and we are not seeing a lot of new people, a lot of new names. If the names that we know that we have received remains the name that will be serving the Liberian people in the next cabinet, are we going to see a change? Not because the name of the people are no different from the old names, but do you think the behavior, the attitude, the governing system will be much more different from what we have been seeing for the past 18 years?
Well, Mr. Kana, before I answer that direct question, I'd like to go back to something that you said, because in as much I was doing something here in the back, I was listening carefully and came into the show. I like to go back to the points that you made about the Liberty Party coming back together. If anyone can record on the show, SKTV were one of the people that predicted the North within the Liberty Party and how it would have ended up. Directly and indirectly we did. But we went as far as saying one of the biggest mistakes that Senator Yomdikanga Lawrence made was when they were in the CPP for her to not put her hand in the race to be the leader of the CPP. We thought that was a political mistake. We thought and felt that it was not strategic from her end because she came to the table. She could have been the deciding factor over there. Because Benina, you were off the bat, decided that he wouldn't run and he already chose Asa. She should have ran for that and decide what to do. However, today we are here, fast forward, we're here today, and I want to agree with Mr. Cannon to some extent that this perfect opportunity given to Senator Yomdikanga Lawrence is an opportunity for her, we can say in our brother, show your juice. Let me put it that way. To show that she is that leader, she is that woman, she is that mother, she is that parent. That, and this is not just for her, but for the next generation of female leaders. She must make an impact. She must make an everlasting impact in that Senate as a pro tem that would rejuvenate, that would substantiate, that would validate any other woman that will come after her. So she can set the stage or not. It's up to her. Now, going on ahead for her political career as to what happens next, what becomes of her next, what does she do for 2029? Whatever she does in that Senate will speak volume of the country looking towards her, or whether she will collaborate with somebody else or whatever not. But also, I believe that this stage is set for 2029. And like Mr. Kane said, very interesting things will happen. Very, very interesting thing will happen. Now there is no more excuse. Folks, you're please listen to this. There is no more excuse that we are high people than there, and as initially were in charge, and that the other person went. There is no more excuse. There is no more excuse that the Senate will honor the leadership of Abachie, and Abachie, they nominated the other person who will not qualify, and they sneak the person in, and there is no more excuse. Senator Darius Dillon, James Barney, Prince Mui, and others who were part of this rescue are the ones in charge and in full authority, including Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence in the Senate. We expect nothing less. And if anybody thinks that we are going to lower our expectations, you're wasting your time. Even the Amarakone man who passed around with lower expectation, he part of the leadership over there. We don't want to hear no funny thing. We don't want no dry door story. You're dead now. What kind of question? You're dead now. We're watching y'all, the way we can say in the bro, kolo. Y'all leave all the blame on Joria. Y'all leave all the blame on the other people. Y'all say they were not educated. Y'all say that they didn't know governance. Y'all say that they didn't know politics. They didn't know this. Thank God you're dead now. Any attempt, and we'll be watching y'all. We won't go to sleep. We'll get 1 hour open to be watching y'all. Any attempt, you'll be brought to probably ridicule. We're not joking. Your heart, your get what it takes to change that country. All the qualities are there. We don't want to hear no foreign investor coming, and we don't want to hear the Senator Darius Dillon, you foreign B-men here. So we're looking at you here. All your collection and what you get in the US for Mada, from the other place, the Dillon, force for Dillon, your please utilize it. We don't want to hear noise, oh. We don't want to hear noise. But let's move to your question, Mr. Kane. Let's move to your question. I thought it was important to go back and touch on the Yomli Kanga Lawrence issue. I thought it was critically important because, and I agree with you that the Liberty Party should come back together. That has been the call for us here on SKTV, and we'll stand by it that the Liberty Party should come back together. In fact, the Liberty Party was one of the parties that I was leaning towards. Bigly, 100%. I lean towards the Liberty Party bigly.
What this person is talking about? Say, hey, you're endorsed Amara Kone. When did we endorse Amara Kone?
Who endorsed Amara Kone?
I don't even know what he's talking about.
Maybe that River said pro endorse Amara Kone. You not get a problem with that one.
He said, you're endorsed. And now when Amara Kone, but we did not endorse anybody anyway.
No, Mr. Kane.
I don't know when SKTV endorsed somebody here.
When we endorse, we don't endorse behind the house. We are on record. That's the good thing about it. So anybody can say you endorse, they can accuse you or anything. As far as we're concerned, we're not. Would they endorse? Whether behind closed door or
I mean, it would have been a bad thing to endorse anybody, including Amara, but the thing is, we did not.
We did not endorse anybody in the past election. Nope, we did not endorse anybody. And we stood by our ground that we will not endorse anybody. We will be like that. But anyway, let's get to the issue, Mr. Kane. First of all, let's go to the names that were perambulating or that have been on the social media and so forth. Let's go to the names. Some of those names will not be in the executive. Some of those names. There are some names too that were kept out deliberately. For example, Professor Larry Tokpa. We didn't see a name on the list, on any of those lists. But Professor Larry Tokpa is a strategic ally. And he's part of the alliance. They are part of the alliance as well. One of the names that were thrown around has been thrown around for the post of Ministry of Justice. And I want to be wrong on this one. Tiawan Gonglo will not be nominated as Minister of Justice. I want to be really, really wrong. I want Joseph Boaga to prove me wrong on this one. He will not. He will not. He will not. Mr. Kane, we could have the watered down or similar Minister of Justice as Musa Dean. Somebody that falls in line with the president. Somebody that look at what is wrong and say nothing about it and turn a blind eye. So if you ask me, what do we expect from the incoming cabinet? I don't want to put any expectations on them. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I want to. And I want to be fair. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And in giving them the benefit of the doubt, I want to also let them know that we can chew gum and walk at the same time. While we are giving the benefit of the doubt, if you do anything that warrant us to come and discuss you or to come and discuss what you did, we'll do it. We'll discuss the situation that you did. But not only that, when the final listing comes out that is approved by President-elect Joseph Yoma Boakai, we are going to scrutinize everybody in our cabinet and bring the record to the public. You know why? It is important for us to do that because then it will set expectations. It will also give us a historic a view or framework of who these people are or who this person are leading this ministry. For example, I hear them say they want name, what her name, Mandela Cooper as gender minister. I have nothing against Mandela Cooper. In fact, Mandela Cooper, I'm a girl. Let me say, Nana, I'm a girl. She cool. We're cool people. We're friends. But my question is, when was the last time you ever saw Mandela Cooper involved with anything that has to do with gender or anything that has to do with anything that gender business? When was the last time you saw it? When? Or you ever heard it or read about it? When? You see that the mistake we made at the same thing they told Pisota and Poho over there. Because Pisota in the party and Pisota did it, and Pisota did that, and Pisota did this. They pour there. Well, time to deliver the issue now. It became a problem. In a country or in any job, when you say you are an electrician, they don't care you to fire service or they don't care you to be nurse or medical doctor because you are an electrician to keep you in your area. So if the government wants to succeed, they must get people from a professional standpoint who understand that work. The issue of gender, they're not woman talking for woman, they're not men talking for men. And then not somebody just saying that and just traveling all around the country or just passing around with a tattoo. It's a sensitive position. You know, I spoke to somebody who helped write the entire gender ministry guidelines, policies, and procedure before it even became what it is today to become a ministry. I spoke to somebody who Kile was behind this. So the idea of gender ministry is bigger than we Liberians have taken it to just restrict it. It encompasses a lot of different functions, a lot of different things, because it also goes as far as helping to build up the next generation of leader. What about protecting them? What about ensuring that they are safe? It's a big thing. So it requires serious technical. It requires serious experience. They're not just anything. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be a woman that got to be there. I just want to point that out. So I will get all of the benefit of that you will see.
So, Mon, you came back. I don't know whether you listened to the question, but I have something else to talk about here that has to do with the appointments of cabinet minister, directors, and other leaders within the government. Recently, President Weah appointed, he made two important appointments, and they were not given the due process in the Liberian Senate for confirmation. And those positions are very important. But Joseph Boakai is saying, yesterday, that his Ministry of Justice, they're going to ask sanctioned official to work, to collaborate with his justice ministry to exonerate themselves or to clear their names. on allegations that led to this they be sanctioned by the United States. Who can do that job in Liberia? Would that be considered witch hunting, or would have been accused of selective justice, Steve?
Well, Mr. Kane, I think that's a brilliant question. But let me go back a little bit. That first of all, and I will call the person in who can be and should be, right? I will call the person in, but and that person will be impartial, and that person will execute this. But I'll call the name. But before I call the person's name, let's go back just a little bit to this step that Joseph Yuma Boakai's administration wants to take. I'm in full support of it. I'm 100% in full support of it. Part of the things that we requested President George Weah to do as citizens, as Liberians, was to ensure that these guys are vindicated. Let them have the opportunity in the courts, along with the different evidences that would be presented, whether by the US government or by other entities who pushed this case that led to this particular sanction on these individuals. No, let's not be political about this. It is the right thing to do for these guys to have their days in court to exonerate themselves. It is the right thing to do. It is. And this cannot be a political thing. It cannot be viewed as witch hunt. All men or all persons who are on this list, everyone should ensure that they have their day in court. Because you know what I mean? For you to have sanction hanging over your neck, and some of them, their children and family members and loved ones are affected by these things. So it is okay for them to get a day in court, face the US government with the evidences presented through the Liberian government to say this is what it is. Let's have you vindicated. Look, there is no ambiguity here. I support Joseph Yuma Boakai on this 100%. Joseph Yuma Boakai takes this stance. I support him. I push that agenda. I'm into it 100% because both parties will benefit. The country will have the facts. The government will have the facts. On the other hand, too, these people whose lives are on the radar of sanction would have the opportunity to make their case. But let's come to who can do this without being considered a witch hunt. Now, let me say this, folks. This is not a witch hunt. Let me be clear on it. It is not a witch hunt. It was not the Liberian government that brought this sanction. However, the Liberian government is responsible to act. President George Weah told us that he would have acted on this. He did not. However, time elapsed and he's no longer president, so he's no longer there to take it on. Government is continuing it. So if Joseph Boakai want to pick it up from where he stopped, 100% agree. But here is the issue. I believe the only man, I believe one of the only men, I don't want to say the only man, I believe one of the only men or one of the only person in Liberia who can take this case and will not even look back, will not blink, or will not trip, will be Tiawan Say Gonglo. If Tiawan Gonglo is a justice minister, you can guarantee anything that this will go through. Oh yes, I can go sleep and know that this will happen. So I'm encouraging the Joseph Yuma Boakai-led administration. My suggestion, bring in Tiawan Gonglo as the justice minister.
But you just said earlier that Joseph Boakai should prove you wrong because it's never going to be Tiawan Gonglo.
Exactly.
How did you arrive at that conclusion that it's never going to be Tiawan Gonglo?
Well, the reason I arrived to that conclusion is, first of all, we got to look at the makeup of those who are in the government currently, with those who are the allies. Joseph Boakai, truly speaking, to make his government, the cabinets, to appoint them, it's not going to be mutually exclusive. Remember now, they have people that they work with. They have alliances. And so these alliances will have to be consulted. Also, real note, in our history in Liberia, let's not joke about this. On some real note, in our history in Liberia, Prince Johnson and Tiawan Gonglo do not have that relationship, even though they are from the same county. Tiawan Gonglo has always, as long as I have known him, stood for justice, wants justice, and wants accountability. In fact, as evidenced by that most recently, Tiawan Gonglo applauded the US government when the most recent sanction list came out. In fact, he even encouraged them to do more, to even go a step further. So, for the UP-led administration to appoint Tiawan Gonglo, I see that one hard. The one can say in Liberia to second side the Babu and have a who hold it. I see it hard, folks. I see it hard. However, I am encouraging, I am suggesting, I'm recommending. If the Joseph Yuma Bwaga-led administration wants someone who will hold this bull by his horn, wants someone who will not do that partisan foolishness, Joseph Tiawan say Gonglo will be the right man for that position.
All right. Let me tell you this. And I hope they are listening, and I hope they will give you a recommendation. But I can tell you, I am pessimistic that it can be Tiawan Gonglo. And the reason is very simple. Prince Johnson said he cannot work with anybody who will bring Tiawan Gonglo on board. And Tiawan Gonglo is on record saying that he will support the War and Economic Crimes Code. And once it comes to War Crime Code discussion, Prince Johnson sees that as an attack on his person.
Yes.
He tried to the whole idea of war crime code as if to say he's the only person that actually committed war crime or that were involved in the war. The war happened, everybody that participated, they participated. Even though he was on record on camera killing a president. But Tiawan Gonglo could be one of the best candidate, the best person to actually serve and perform as justice minister. But with Prince Johnson's leverage, this could also be a testament whether or not Joseph Boakai can defy the conventional wisdom. They say, well, Prince Johnson controls or will control Joseph Boakai government. If Joseph Boakai can go out of his way, put somebody that Prince Johnson does not want to see. If Joseph Boakai can do that, that will also send a message, not only to Liberians, not only to Prince Johnson as a person, but to the world, that Joseph Boakai is ready for a real business. Maybe Mom will listen, maybe you want to.
I agree with you 100 and I don't know, quadrillion% on this, Mr. Kane. You have my unflinching support.
Brazilian more, your man has died you.
Your boy love big English. You see, he won't be the new Jefferson Koji. Jefferson Koji was sending a congratulatory message where he said, this is what he said. This man saw in us a molecule of ability to give us the opportunity when some of us never had the CV to compete. I was like, Jesus Christ. So we was not interested in competing. He was looking for molecules. He was looking for molecules in the science laboratory. I don't know since when we started measuring him on capabilities in molecules. You know, in like people just
in Liberia, we can
I said, that's the reason you guys are out.
The funny thing is, those who can be playing with English like that are the people that are considered in Liberia as
The
educated.
smartest one. Yeah.
Yeah, smarter and educated.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh, the boy is walking encyclopedia. What the boy is a walking thesaurus. The boy is a walking dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
The boy no book. Yeah, the boy eat the team.
And they were there clapping for you. Like, look at those other idiots. You know, our system is so backward. We are totally backward. You know, when we were growing up, we never knew that just because a word exists in the dictionary, it don't necessarily mean you can just use that word. You have to use that word accordingly. There are some words that are synonymous, but you cannot use it in certain context. But unfortunately, in Liberia, like, people just use words and just say things even if it don't make sense. So that's it. Talking about molecule of ability. Since when we started measuring abilities and capabilities in molecules, I was like, wow. And he said it right. I said, that's the reason you guys were voted out. That he was looking for people to just give them job rather than looking for competence, because that's exactly what he meant. Some of us would never have working experience. We don't know what we're doing, but anyway,
let me tell you why. Let me tell you why a boy Samuel Tuer became one of those people in Liberia, and especially in Liberian politics when he came to the CDC. He knows how to play words. And CDCians, they were just waiting.
Yeah.
To wait for Samuel to talk. When you're speaking, you just hear Paku.
You're strong.
And just because now, when they say Paku, then Samuel will just pause.
Mm-hmm.
And then the battle cry will start.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, I'll make the CDC though.
I love them in the opposition.
I will make the CDC, for a lot of different reasons, not because of governance, good governance, or any form of, deliverable, but actually, the fun part of politics, I really enjoy that, with the CDC. sometimes, and that's how Henry Costa too. I love Costa too. So one guy called me, one doctor called me. I don't want to call him. You called me here. I said, "Who? You know what? I like your show." I said, "No." He said, "At least you guys can talk, you understand it for the first time." He said, "But all I got there can be misplacing words." So that all I got there can be misplacing words, he said, "I don't even understand his dictions." And he is a doctor. So I told him, I said, "But you have to know your audience. You got to, that's the best form of communication is to know your audience. Then you can be an effective communicator. But if you don't know that, you have a lot of people following you. They'll be confused. They don't even know what's going on. They don't even know what you're saying at the end of the day. And nowadays, it's like somebody writing on Facebook or social media. If you write the whole pamphlet, 10, 20 pages, nobody will read it. Or maybe 10% of your followers will read it. Only 10%, 90% will not have time to read it. So your message will not get across. Similarly, if you do a show for 5 hours, 6 hours, I have seen a lot of people do, you're not going to have people listening to that show, the whole show after the show. But if you have like 1 hour or 30 minutes, that's why 30-minute show, 1 hour show, even 15-minute video can grow can grow followers faster than any other one. Because why? People even have the chance to play it multiple times. And a lot of people, at least we have time to sit back and finish it. But if you want to be writing or speaking book, people don't even have time. Now everybody actually into this whole dictionary thing. We have time to go to the dictionary to be looking for definite definition of what you're saying before they can even understand it.
Mr. Kane.
If in the Western world you follow all these talk shows, TV channels, you sit there, you don't struggle to listen to understand anything. Everything you say, you understand it for the first time. Yeah, I just want to,
So, Mr. Kane, I want to piggyback on something that you said earlier. I know we got a few more minutes here to close the show for today, but I wanted to go back to something that you said earlier about the Liberty Party becoming a viable option in terms of 2029's election. But not only that, the Liberty Party becoming a viable opposition, whether they stay with the CPP or they go their separate ways. The CPP's arrangement, I think it should be over with sometimes in April. And they should be able to decide whether they want to go forward or they want to, discontinue the relationship, and then there would be no CPP in existence, right? That's one part. Something that I didn't hear you mention when you were mentioning, or you mentioned it briefly, you didn't stick on it, which I think is important for us to bring to light today, is we're talking about Jefferson Koji, we're talking about Samuel Twe, we're talking about the CDC. Now, the CDC, as we can all recall, whether you like the CDC or not, in terms of governance, they were an effective opposition. They ensured they kept the Unity Party's government or administration feet to the fire at all levels, right? So the CDC, in as much as you mentioned that the Liberty Party and the CPP or ANC and other party would be an opposition to the Unity Party, we must not forget about the CDC. But what's even concerning about the CDC now is we have not seen any kind of life from President George Weah that he still intends to run. He's been playing cool. He's been mostly focused on transitioned, turning over, and so forth, which we must commend him for that, right? But my point I'm trying to make, and what I'm trying to say is, where does the CDC go after here in terms of who leads them, in terms of how did they transition from the record that they had as a ruling party that just came out for 6 years? How do they make it back? That transition is the most important thing for CDC, so that the institution does not die even after they've won one branch of government and brought them back into play. Like we say, when we're playing football, you score one goal, you are back into the game, and now. So where do they go? Is Fanati Kofa going to be the new leader? Is Vice President Joy Howard Taylor, because I heard her the other time briefly on a closing argument, indirectly saying that she's going to be in the politics or whatever it is. Is she now going to leave the NPP and take over the CDC? Where do we go from there? Including even the NPP. Where do we go?
So,
Sekou, go.
Yeah, go ahead, Bon. I will come back after you.
Look, let me tell you something, Moses. CDC, there is no coming back to the political power for CDC. CDC will be like every other political institution that exists in Liberia. Let me tell you something. CDC rode on the George Weah celebrity status. He was a cultural icon. That's a whole different thing. Now that Weah is not on the stage, the whole idea that he's going to come back, nobody's going to vote for Weah even if he decides to come back. Because Weah was given opportunity. We all knew what have happened to his presidency, and he never disappointed. It was one of the biggest schemes that the voter ever decided to choose, that Weah was going to make a better president. And I said it over and over on the show, on every other, even from the inception of Facebook when it came to Liberian politics, that there is no way in the world, in no rational country, people who have voted for George Weah to be president in this day and age. But unfortunately, it happened in Liberia, and people now came to the realization that in 6 years, it was a total waste. There is nothing CDC can point to say, you know what, this is why we benefited from the George Weah government as a people and as a country. That's it. The most CDC can do, somebody will have to rebrand that party because they have supporters. They got the vast majority of the younger voters, they got a brand name. So someone will have to inherit that name. Let me give you something. The True Win Party ruled Liberia for 133 years. The moment they left the scene, that was the end. From there came what? The NDPL. So whether the United People Party, whether they talk about Antipote, our political system is not based on institution, it's based on individual. That's just why it has been over the past 100 and some more years. So this idea that Georgia, even though Georgia is not on the scene, but can you tell me anyone within the CDC that can make a challenge, a mountain challenge for the presidency? It cannot be. And I think one might be a better speaker of the House. You could use someone for that to be a deputy speaker. But we talk about presidential politics, brother. Nobody in CDC has half of the gravitas that Georgia possesses in terms of popularity, in terms of need recognition to run for president in Liberia. The most they can do, they will have to rebrand that party, change their entire structure, collaborate with other parties in order to make a push. If they really want to get back to unity party, that will be the only way forward. But to tell you that CDC going to put Thomas Fala or Fanati Kova on a presidential ticket for him to win election, like, bro, that's a joke. It will never ever happen. Georgia is 1 in a million. There is no other Georgia. That's just about it.
Okay, Mr. Kana, what say you? Because
So for me, first of all, I want to tell this person thank you. The person is of $45. $45 to SKTV. We really appreciate it. Since I talk about people supporting, I don't know. Oh wow! So, man, stop calling me. So, since I talk about it today, that people should support us for whatever we were doing. One person said $45, and that's it so far. But day before yesterday, the person that got in the money we needed to buy those things in Liberia before the inauguration, and I told the person how much we were left with. So I just saw that person send us $150. And the person always say, don't call my name. It's a female. We want to say thank you. We want to appreciate you. Maybe you keep saying don't call money, don't call money. The day we are having our appreciation program, you're going to have to come to light, because we don't like to hurt good people. And not because of you give us money, but you always been there sharing SKTV platform. You always on the show every day, promoting SKTV. We appreciate it. We have, from our screen here, we've seen 513 people. We said today people can support. Only one person did it, beside that person that promised us day before yesterday they're going to support us towards that. I want to say thank you. Like we always said, whether people donate or support SKTV or not, we will still be here. We still do our best. We still cover stuff. We still bring information to you. Appreciation, is also a part of supporting us. So the question you asked Steve, the CDC going to be strong. CDC may not be the one to produce president, but whoever CDC support for president will be a major contender. And the reason is very simple. Look at our political space and look at our electors, people that vote. Look at our voters. Joseph Boakai will live in the political space. Joseph Boakai not going for a second term. If he even earns his first term, if he does not resign for medical or age reason, we're going to have a political vacuum. The next major political actor that could carry serious weight will be Alexander Cummings. We don't know whether Komis is going to run. Some of you are saying Komis will run, but personally, I don't know. Like I said earlier, politicians, they start the next move right after the election. Win or lose, the politicians start their next move right after the election. In terms of participation, in terms of strategic planning, in terms of making alliances, in terms of collaborating with people, in terms of starting conversation. I don't know how far Alexander Cummings is with that. He could be the next person who could also gain from sympathy vote, because Joseph Barker government failed or succeed. Many people believe that Cummings was not treated fairly. And those that have been saying Cummings is new after 2 election cycles, the third one, Cummings is not going to be considered any more new. And Cummings could also forget about this whole idea of collaboration, coalition, blah, blah, blah. Cummings can be his own man. Cummings can be ANC. And Cummings can bring on board other people, some powerhouse from the CDC. That's why it's important that Joseph Boakai government initiate this whole idea of investigation into the people who are sanctioned, so that it can be clear. Either pay the price for their action or be exonerated, so that people can continue to have stigma on them. But I can tell you, Steve, the reason why CDC is going to be powerful, CDC is going to be strong, the people that vote for people in Liberia. Thomas Fala knew that he was a failure after serving 2 successful terms in Montreal, I think 3, if you will. Guess what? He said that, let me move to a different country. He went to that place. Not only he was re-elected, he was also elevated in the political arena in the Republic of Liberia. Thomas Fala is now Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. Konati Kofa used to be former chairman of the Liberty Party. Konati Kofa is now the Speaker of the House of Representatives. You know, CDC, if you look at the number of people in the Senate, you look at senators, you look at representatives, look at how many people in the Senate, how many citizens, how many Liberty, how many CPP, and how many CDC, how many Unity Party? We only got 3 Unity Party. In fact, you got more independent than any other political party in Liberia, in the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
And for the record, for what we have seen so far, including this election, most of the independent, they go with CDC. And the reason is very simple. They got the money. Sajose got money. Nathaniel Magu got money. Beatrice got money. Jefferson Koju got money. All the other opponents got money. And Liberian people, they don't vote on issue. They vote for who can buy what for them. Otherwise, Magu will not be senator today. Beatrice will not be senator today. And when you are bad, when you got stigma, when you got bad stigma on you, the people gravitate towards you. All the opponents that are sanctioned, whether it's Nukwe, whether it's Magé, whether it's Betrawe, whether it's Samuel 12 that are sanctioned, they're going to be celebrated. They're going to be rewarded by the Liberian people. I'm not sure of presidency, but whoever they support could possibly win the presidency. Because the United Party is not going to get along with Jeremiah Kun. United Party will not allow Jeremiah Kun to be president after Joseph Boakai. So Kumis could take advantage of the political leadership vacuum in the country by asserting himself, starting from today, not tomorrow, not to wait for any time, in a minute, to be seen as the de facto leader of the opposition, regardless of who is in the ring or in the race.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. I wanted to follow what Sekou said, because
Go ahead.
technically, Sekou and myself are literally saying the same thing, but in the two different ways. CDC been around since 2005, so I'm not going to expect for CDC to just vanish off the stage. I am saying, as a party, they are not going to produce another president, but they are going to be a force to determine who becomes president next.
Yep.
By forming a collaboration, by rebranding the party and bringing a different face. Look, Joseph Boakai presidency is an outlier, and Joseph Boakai is president today because it was the CPP that resurrected Unity Party. The Liberian people were done and dusted with Unity Party after 12 years. It was the reason we got George Weah. So they knew that they were never coming back. It was the end of the line. But guess what? It was George Weah performances and the CPP collaboration that resurrected the Unity Party for the second time. So people were like, you know what? Joseph Boakai has been in the game for almost 4 decades. He's a former vice president. So logically, it does not make sense to serve vice president for the second time. So we're going to make him president. One thing I'm saying is CDC is a force to reckon with. They are a major political party in the opposition. I'm just saying that they will not produce another president from within that party. They will have to rebrand. Somebody will have to take over that party and then use the force of CDC to prepare to the presidency. But if anybody think whether it's the Thomas Fala, I know he got money and he got negative stigma, but in Liberian politics, if you just observe the way they vote for lawmakers, the presidential game is a whole different thing. Thomas Fala might be a better lawmaker, but you put Thomas Fala on a presidential ticket, trust me, that's there on the rival. It's the same with Jeremiah Kun. Jeremiah Kun only roll on the cocktail of Joseph Boakai. I tell people, in as much as he's coming from the second largest county in the country, I bet you put Jeremiah Kun on a ticket for president, how many people will vote for him? Not even some people from only Makande will vote for him because that's presidential. That's not
and more, not to cut you off. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something right now. If Kumis does not start right now, if Kumis play the game the same way he did 2023, if Kumis keeps the same people around him, if he continue with the same MO like 2023, even Osar Joseph can defeat Kumis in Liberia. If, listen to me and listen to me well, if they play the ball the same way they did, if you keep the same group of people, good for nothing, do nothing people, money eaters, if you keep the same group of people the same way, anybody can play the ball and beat him. You know what? The same idea of Mr. Nice, the same idea of Mr. Stranger, the same idea of not knowing Liberian politics, the same idea of not taking on or taking radical approach, bringing radicals on board, bringing 4 soldiers on board. Not those money eaters that can go sit down in the in the compound with him. When come move, they move. They can move with him. When you move, I move.
Yeah, just like
that.
Those
people, if coming going to kill those kind of same people after 2029, 2020 we'll sit down here and talk the same thing. Oh yeah, commission should have done this, we will have done this. I just want to add that. Number one, start right now. Number two, reach out. Number three, bring more radicals. And himself got to be a little bit tougher. Liberian people left fighter. Politics as a whole.
Politics is a master sport.
Politics is as a whole. You got to be a fighter. People got to see you fighting for them. People got to trust you that you can fight for them. People who are making decisions today, look at them. Who are they? Who are they? People who we are celebrating today. Senator, representatives, speaker, this and that. They are what? Compared to commies. But you know what? They understand the Liberian politics. They play the Liberian way. And that's why they are leaders today.
So, thank you, Mr. Kane. I think our bottom line here from what you are saying, I think from what you're saying and from what I'm hearing, because I've also heard this from many people who support CDC around, even before the elections. Many of them would say they will support Cummings 2029. Strong supporters, leaders within CDC, even members of CDC who will say they're just, in a Liberian term, they're just flow members. They've said it behind.
It 1 o'clock, just in case, because
yes. We just 5 million were close. 5 million were close. And so my question to both of you is, my question here is, do you think if Cummings starts the negotiation early, like you said, to bring the CDC on board, if Cummings starts to reach out to ARCO and other places, as opposed to waiting, if Cummings revamps his team, bring in some new, fresh idea, different faces, or so forth, do you think that would enhance his chances and the possibility of him becoming president? I mean, selecting a vice president even early on than waiting. Like Brenton can wait and we wait for 2 months to select our vice president to election. Then we're still waiting. Do you think being proactive will set the stage, and also it will show that Cummings is ready to lead this country? Just being the leader of the opposition. Let me put it that way. Being the leader in the face of the opposition. What do you say, Mr. Kane?
Definitely, and I can tell you, that would even make a lot of people to be afraid to come on the stage. But a lot of people are going to take advantage of the political vacuum. And Cummings should not be afraid to get away from certain people. He should not be afraid to break ties with certain people. He should not be afraid to speak on issue where and when needed. He should not be afraid to go as ANC. He doesn't need any collaboration from the start. People should collaborate, joining him with the purpose of supporting him as Tenebero to be president of Liberia. Whoever will join him will join him. Whoever will not join him will not join him. You know, there's a saying that if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's for you. If it doesn't, it was not meant for you. I will stop.
Thank you. Cyrus, what say you before we close here real quick?
For me, I believe he's in a very good position in terms, if you remove George Weah and the Joseph Boaga off the stage, I think he's the de facto that people will be looking up to. But Sekou said it right. There are certain rules you must lay, because it was the same scheme that he fell into, thinking that the CPP was going to be a competition when in fact it was a coronation, and he became a victim of that. And people are telling him all the time, some of the faces we see on your campaign team, we just cannot stand, and they are more of a minus than a plus. He needs a total restructuring. He needs some radicals on board. Look, politics is a contact sport, whether you like it or not. This is not about merits. This is about salesmanship. And it's about projecting yourself as a leader in the face of people. And when people are looking up to leadership, people want to see strength. People love to see fighter. That's why it's a natural thing for human being to gravitate to people who they see as an advocate, people that are fighting for them, and people who can throw some punches. That's what people love to see in politics. If you want to be Mr. Nice Guy, then go to church. This is not church. This is politics. We are talking about the lives of millions of people that will be at stake. And Sekou said it right. There's nothing he can do. He can restructure, but he must set the ground rule. You can be a vice president. You can support this particular coalition. But coming to this coalition, just understand that we already have a presumptive nominee for president. And he will be able to command another opposition to make a fight. Like I said, if I'm Cummings, I'm going for CDC 100%. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. They are the strongest opposition now. They are a party that have been around for a long time. They got a name and a brand. You want to restructure that party. You want to rebrand that party and form a collaboration. You can reach out to the ACO and Liberty Party. Because I know there will always be a segment of Liberty Party because Nana Nyombli is Senate pro tem. I know she will want to be either a vice president or president later, 6 years from now. That for sure will happen. That's just the case. Reach out to people, make the phone calls, start putting some money on the table, and start reaching out to people. That's why about politics. Politics is all about arm twisting and negotiation. It's about salesmanship. It's nothing more. This is not corporate. This is not about your skill set, your leadership quality. That's not how people vote. They have proven over and over that they get certain conditions that must be met in order to be president in Liberia. So he cannot keep playing the game using the same old rules. It got to be something fundamentally different from the total revamp of the campaign thing. I'm talking about that Facebook response unit where you got people all here and there on Facebook. And I'm talking about people that are totally committed to the process that want to see because people believe in your leadership and they think that when he's on board, the country might do better. So, like I said, he must start making those phone calls. He must start making the deals and start getting ready for 2026 because it's shorter than you would think. I think you can tell. Nobody thought that 6 years would have run so quick for Georgia, and now he's on his way out.
Yeah, thank you, Monk. I think, and I want to set the record straight for some of us from a personal standpoint. I know many times people say, "Oh, don't say this in public. Don't do this. Don't rush. Don't say nothing. Don't do this. Don't do that." Let me say this. I don't go behind the hall to support. I don't go behind the hall to talk on certain things. If Alexander B. Cummings decides to run 2029, I will support him for the presidency. I will canvass and campaign for him. As opposed to that nonsense you can be writing, I supported Cummings in 2023 and my Cummings supporter. You will see support here. You will see support. You will see real
support, right?
I will be the number one man. If nobody wants to support him for presidency, even if the West State will not support him, I will support Alexander Cummings for presidency 2029. You're well. I don't mince my words. I don't go back over my words to talk, to take it back in public. Oh, you can take it back. I'm taking nothing back. Stand by what I'm saying here today because I'm alert oriented. I will support Alexander B. Cummings for presidency. For presidency come 2029. I will be in the trenches. And I will support him. I want you to hear it. I want you to hear it so it can be on record. I won't be on record for that. In another vein, let me say this also. You see that funny thing and what CPP, ANC were bouncing around with doing 2023. You say you get surrogate and then they say now on show and they're bad moving your candidate. We're not going to play that funny game. My own support. It don't come with queer eating shame. And I don't sit down behind the table to support. I got to be at the table for all the discussing. That funny thing, whether you let United Party or not, United Party refused to come on the station because we criticized Joseph Human Boycott. They had a standard, they had a stand. If you go somewhere where they are criticizing and lying on your leader and you are still sitting there smiling that you clown of the town, you are enabling, you are enhancing, and you are validating that support. So we're not going to have clowns. If I'm part of the Cummings, if I join the Cummings team, we're not having clowns. We're having serious people because elections are serious. You must not joke with elections in our country.
People's lives, man.
You gotta be serious. I used to see people saying, "I heard they're smiling, acting funny." You think that funny thing and you wear funny thing, make you smile. We're not going to do that. If you won't do that, then I'll walk away from the campaign. If you're serious for us to fight, for us to stand up, for us to set the candidate, for us to do what is right, I'll work with you. You come with Mama Papa play and you get your hands so, I don't do that. I don't support people and undermine them. When I support, I support. I don't support, I don't support. So that thing where you can be on in the ANC, in the CPP, where you're on clown show then, and not on clown show with nobody. We're not on that level. You can be as old as Methuselah. We're not be on that level. If you won't be clown, we'll put you in the back. They won't finish with all the campaign, we'll turn off the TV, you won't be clown, then you be clown for us. We'll cheer you up. But you will not be clown in public, where they're denigrating, disrespecting, undermining, and in essence, impacting the chances of your candidate winning, and they're saying now smirking, I think there's something wrong with you.
Sitting there on a bunch of crazy shows and talking nonsense when you're there to be protecting and fighting for your candidate.
No, leader. No, you see, you can take it from the United Party. The United Party fought for the candidate. They saw the candidate and they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
They're funny thing where you're on. We're not on funny level.
If
you get something like emotional interest somewhere,
yeah.
or do an emotional interest leader campaign. If you get your boyfriend or your husband or your whatever it is somewhere else, you're going to be doing your thing, you're enjoying yourself, lead a campaign, you're not forced to be there. But you come with funny thing. You're
Steve, is it. Apart from letting individuals go and to revamp the team, even if it entails that you change your name, ANC, so be it. In Liberia, we're not beholden to political party and name, we are beholden to individual and what that individual believes in. So when we're talking about total, overhaul of a campaign and the strategy, it could be the individual, it could be the party, and it could care less. It doesn't change the fact that Alexander Coming is not coming. Even if it entails that the name ANC does not exist or they want to change it or rebrand it, who cares? It's about the individual, it's not about the name and certain people. Some people just have to go, and they were never in it for him. We saw it. It's just that the vast majority of folks got to realize that later, and it was way too late. But in Liberian politics, that's just why it is. The people decide before time. So he's in a better position at the moment to fill in that gap, and it's up to him whether he's going to make that push this time around to be very, very serious about it. Especially the people that will be in the inner circle.
No, Mom, let me tell you something. Mom, let me tell you something. Some are not coming around because we get hit against anybody or we mad at anybody or get personal vendetta or issue. No, nothing yet personal. But when you decide to make a case for a candidate and you support and believe that candidate, it goes with your integrity. It goes with everything in it. You understand? You have a candidate that basically you don't have to make excuses for, you can sell. But people take all their time, wasting their time, be doing what they got. Seriously? And you think someone will about to get invested into that for 2029 will commit? Let someone all join the community. Thank God we're joining voluntarily. Let someone all count the community will see you. All the clown will put you in someone a box. Christmas time will release you. You'll go do funny thing, your John Santa. The serious minded people will deal with it. We're not on joking thing here. We're not going to joke. Let me say this, we're not going to joke. And I want to say this though. I want to say this to Unity Party and other people that who bouncing around. Let me say this. That time we'll still be on a show. We'll be here. And we'll go on other shows. We'll be there. If you think in your head or in your mind, your Unity Party people, that you'll get noise and you'll get propaganda, you ain't see nothing yet. You ain't see nothing yet. Thank God some of our here can be free to be able to do certain things. Huh? So help me God. We dance. We dance before 2029. The rest will be decided before 2029. And you say you can put who can talk. And you say you can put who can make no. We dance. We're not exposed something that we'll do here because for security reasons.
The narrative will be set up before 2029. The election will be like a replay. The narrative will be established before 2029.
We dance. And we are committed though. We're committed to this process. We're not back down. If there's Liberia that we want to see to be better, Mom, let me tell you today, and I want to make this open confession on the show. Please keep it as recording for future. Everything that is wrong with Liberia, I blame some of us who sat on the fence and took no side, did nothing, said nothing. We decided to become neutral. I spoke to one of, I will not call it the relations to this person, but one of my family members who sat me down and told me, say, you guys are the cause. You should have never sat and be neutral. Maybe if you are taking a side, some people would have followed you, would have persuaded and changed some minds. Because there are some people that respect you and that look up to you. They might not say it. And that's true. We want to apologize to the Liberian people for being on the fence. We want to apologize for being neutral. We want to apologize. Going forward, we will not be neutral. Some of us will not be neutral. You can call Kumi man, you can call Kumi this, you can call Kumi son. We'll probably will assume those names and work with it. This is how we liberate the country. This is how we make the difference. To those of you who are in the diaspora, who are tired with Liberian politics and I give up, don't give up. In fact, the fight has been directed to us in the diaspora. The most recent thing you saw against Fanatikova, that the lawsuit from United Party was not against Fanatikova. It was against our children, our grandchildren, our unborn children, and other generations who are in the diaspora. So we must stand up. Your 5 cents, your 10 cents, your 25 cents will be coming to you very soon. We are strategizing. We are planning behind closed doors. We'll be coming to you very soon for us to amalgamate forces, for us to put our hands together, for us to ensure that we stand up. If you think we are going to be on neutral ground, you're lie. Some of you can go sit down on other places. You'll say you're the other person's supporter. Oh, you're not that. That we the woman sit down and say we're not the other person's supporter. You're fall down on your head then. We yeah. Let Kumi declare say he's running. The only way someone will not be involved now is when Kumi not declare. Kumi declare tomorrow. You're coming in no more. Hey, I told you last year, before the year went. Sir. Mom, what you gotta say full close, brother?
You just said it all, man. We have nothing more to say. Neutrality is not a position in politics.
No, it will never happen again, my brother.
Yeah, as much as it is a very tough battle to fight, but people will be up to the task. And you said it right. Once he decided to enter into the race, that narrative will be framed before 2029 because that's just how people do things. They make decisions way ahead of the time. So you can sit back and be like something will change based on the message or what the candidates stand for. No, the people can pre-decide that how they operate, and we have learned our lesson. So moving forward, you said it right. Certain people we have to go. Not certain people, a lot of people, even if it entails the name of the political party, and so be it. Once the individual stands, that's the most important thing, and start making that case for the next 6 years because the risk of not doing something for Liberia is even greater than what you see right now. So that's my part.
Most definitely.
And people should be on board to support this particular initiative. The SKTV, we will be here all the time. We will bring the information. You just need to support and play your part, and we will do our part every day as usual.
Yes, Mark. The last thing I want to say is this: for some of you who are worried about, Mr. Cummings might not be the way he was, he might not be too timid, he might not be too quiet, he might not be like that. You lead that thing. Some people you get around, you can make some kind of way. Some people you around you, you gotta be some kind of way too. You lead that thing. Y'all forget about that thing. Mr. Cummings will position himself. Y'all lead that thing. Mr. Cummings will position himself. Y'all forget about that one there. Y'all lead that thing. There will be time when we'll be diplomatic. There will be time when we'll be rough. I'm telling you, if the terrain call for you to be rough, you'll be rough. Lead that thing. Y'all lead that thing. That, but I don't even want to say. I'm talking the thing. Say, yeah, my whole body moving. I'm talking the thing. My whole body moving. Yeah. Mr. Cummings declares you're coming on. I ain't even looking at your ANC, CPP, and all your funny title there. Are jumping in by fire, by force. And we are moving. We're not even looking behind, we are moving. The police all call criminal or will call. That thing why I see your call for each other. The police will doing funny thing there. That thing why I see your call. First of all, we'll start for a more off fight to tell you say we're serious. Or I want no criminal, then we'll expose them first. Before we go talk about other people and criminals, so that they can know so we're ready for business. You think we're coming to do deal call where more I was saying, then we'll leave. Then when people passing around are coming, everybody get phone in face. No, we don't want phone in face. We don't want phone in face people. We want serious money people. We want serious money thing. If you stole, get kind of say that you stole your road, we work with you, we move on at your road. When we go for interview or other places, we say they're passing at a road, but they decided to stay where we're coming. We know who is road, who not road. We're not about to cover for anybody here. You play games, we pull you also. You what I call pull you also. So you know that you on funny level, we pull you also. We're not on too much noise. At the same time, we're selling the candidate. Because if we will change Liberia, then we can be protecting our own too. No, we can't do that. We can't do that. No, I'm not waiting for ANC for to say welcome or not welcome. I'm not worried about you. To be honest, I'm not worried about you. You know what I worry about? Let Kumi declare today, say him Sonny. That means you'll wait for her to welcome me. Marcel will welcome Marcel. You understand yourself. Marcel will welcome Marcel. Marcel, that thing where you get chairman and the chairman there, you can't even see the chairman there, quiet, everybody playing diplomacy, Sonny, where you go. In fact, we're not on that level. Our chairman got to be the chairman. In fact, I will run for chairman position. Yeah, that ain't there more. We're not even checking. I will put my Nina to run for chairman position. That thing what I can see you're doing. My knee will go down to go run for chairman. Chairman, as will be chairman, I'll be afraid of appear to defend what I stand for or to support the person who has also stand for to make the case for the cause. I'll be chairman run away. Yo, you will get tired and you say the other chairman you need to find somewhere to say that. You can be all. You will get tired with the chairman and you will join the chairman. Because you will be in your sleep and all I'll be there making the case. You think we'll be jacking here? We're not jacking, yo. We're not jacking. We're not jacking. You hear my announcement today, Liberian people today, that Friday the 19th. Kumis declared today, Abian Kumis. Yo, I finish telling you, hey, Abian Kumis. Kumis declared today, Abian Kumis. Don't come ask me to support you. Don't come what they call Abian Kumis if he declares today. You hear my announcement, my people, Abian Kumis. And in fact, I'm making my final decision. I will decide if I will run for chairmanship or something in the ANC Global. I will make that final decision. I'll make that decision. We're not going to save anymore and allow anything to happen. No, we're not going to. The change that we want, we got to be that change. So we're not jacking. We're not running around. We got to make sure that we are on course. We got to make sure that we are on course. We have all they're talking about, we're going to be doing. They are there. We're giving it to people, they're not implementing it. Let our second that so we can implement some. Let our second that so we can make a case. That all me I want to say. Yeah, if you stole laptop, can't tell you stole laptop, how my laptop will add a Liberian people to forgive you. If you in funny thing there, you get boyfriend here, you get the other one here, and the water calling you, and you get it in the other party, then I want to your personal business, we're not worry about that one. But don't just make our campaign all funny. We don't want no funny thing. Me about only thing I say. When I get problem with poor personal business. Your personal life is your personal life. You get 5 women, you get 1 woman. I won't care about that one. That's what the Liberian people eat. But if you are a thief, let us know you are a thief. We'll discuss it. We'll let Liberian people know that the other person working with, but they get sticky hand. You understand? We're not call you thief, we'll call you sticky hand, man. You understand? We'll call you sticky hand, man. I will be in full support of Alexander B. Cummings. Yes, I want you to know that. You who claim I support them in 2023, I will disprove you. I will support him 2023. 2029, I will support him. And the good thing about him is, look, things just falling in place now for me to be available for full work. For full. So Alexander Cummings declared that I buy my different suit there. You all see me on different show them with different color suit there. Yeah, we'll be the course who bought it. You see how it goes when we get talking. You understand? So that either my people want to stop there today. Yo, thank you so much. Yo, thank you. I think all of us need to get on board. If we believe we want to change this Liberia, to be quite honest, we can joke around, but we must not sit on the fence and we must not give up. Because if we do, these guys will keep doing the same thing and repeating themselves and playing us and playing the country. And some will get old. Our money were in it, did not get old. Our party were there, did not get old. Our other people did not get old, so that either. Oh, what Tracy Vincent, you were John Cummings, man, did that thing. Joanna, what God. Forget that thing. You were John, you already know that you let Cummings been in. Some of you have a problem there. You let a man and you shout and say you let. That's a problem with you. You let men and you say you let men. Say like you are led. That would not a problem. The man say no, not hand. But say you let a man. Say you let a man. What is that? Just say, oh, I want to support a man. Like Cynthia, our Liberian sister there. You see the man found. You let a man go there and say, oh, you may I let you. Yeah. Yeah, you may I let you. You will not die if you say, hey, what thing? We let a control come in face. Just be, just get it what it called. Just put yourself together and tell the man. If the man agree that ain't, not agree that ain't. But you can be hiding the thing that only the thing you can be hiding in your house, you're passing around. Then you see another man with another one, and then you sucking your teeth. Then you fail. Yeah, then your pressure up. Then you causing what you go to party, you can't sit down, you just twisting tenny. Because if you tell the man, say you let him man. You fought that Isa. You fought that Isa. You fought that Isa. So if you let him man just talk it, they will move forward. But yeah, you'll be checking who did it, where they'll be you're checking on it. Where be checking on? When you guys say, oh, if we are not there, I'll come in. Your never string not that we are. Your last name and we are leader team. Your last name and we are. And President John, we have just see there, you know what's up. You know what's going on. So the whole thing here, you're putting it together. If it is not coming declare, some all, let me just tell you now. Some will be on board fully. And let me just be honest with you. I'm not coming on board just that I'm coming on board to take a leadership role and to take a stand, to be part of the national politics. I want to do that. I think this is how we make the change. This is how we start. They say now behind the horse on the fence, me I left it in 2023. I'm done with it. Say now on the fence, behind the horse, and I'm inside again. From the Liberty Party, if they come together, I will be excited. I told Young Lee, personally. I told Musa personally as well. I told Dillon personally. I love the Liberty Party. I love the youthfulness in the Liberty Party. I know there's a prospect in the Liberty Party. That I know. I'm not ignorant of those facts. I'm not. It will be a good thing if they can come together to save the party and work together. It will be good for them. But I'm saying to y'all, again, let me be on record for the last time. Me, Steve Baby Boy Bole, I will support Alexander B. Cummings for 2029 presidency if he announces. Go keep it on record. And I stand by what I said today. I got no reason to take it back. I was supporting you. Yeah. Anyway, folks, I gotta go. I know say who didn't go already, but I gotta go. Y'all have a good weekend. Tomorrow we'll be on. And we are ready to engage the body politics of our country. We are ready. Full swing, we are ready. We are ready. And we inside. Yo, thank you.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We touch it for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the club. Monitor people who willing to serve. The blessing that time and the effort are rest. The brothers gave me the fear and the parents of them. The work with my life without fear.
I lyrical health.